Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Matt and Mike's X-Files-CCG.
What is that?
We got a cool, it's just music. We got a cool show tonight. We have an amazing special guest. What we got? I want to talk about this guy. So,
Dude, I need to find out what that is. You hear it?
yeah, it's probably just the neighbors or something.
No, dude, it's loud.
Oh, just the neighbors, too.
No, I'm gonna go see. I want to see what it is.
Excuse me. Okay, all right. Just, all right. Okay.
I'm as blue as a girl can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet off a bill. Walking in Memphis.
Dude, Cher's on your
really
back
feel
deck.
the way I feel?
What? Who?
Cher.
Saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue.
Cher was on your back deck.
Followed him up to the gates of Graceland.
Really?
Yeah, come check it out.
Watched him walk
Oh, yeah,
right
check this.
through. Now security that did not see him.
Mike and Matt bringing back the mid to late 90s. Mike and Matt bringing back X-Files-CCG.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mike and Matt's X-Files-CCG.
Yeah.
We're here with a very special guest.
Who we got today?
Well, he's a very significant character. Played multiple characters in the X-Files.
Oh, man. Yeah, who do we have today? Who is that?
Chris Owens.
Mr. Chris Owens, welcome to the show, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
You have a career that spans from as early as 1983, according to our research, which, by the way, was 2 years after we were born. You've done movies, television. You were in freaking Cocktail with Tom Cruise. You were in Red. Great death, by the way. We seem to interview a lot of people that get killed.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes, I am. I'm well hung in a Bruce Willis movie.
Yep. You were in High School Musical, Stargate SG1, one of my favorites, Millennium, but most notably, Agent Jeffery Spender on the X-Files. Crazy, right?
Yeah, and we want to know too, with such a wide range of roles, what was it like to play the Great Mutato?
The Great Mutato was that was one of my first experiences with that kind of prosthetics, and it was fantastic. It took us, I think, 6.5 hours the first day to get me into the contraption and glue it all down and whatnot. And prior to that, I had taken, and you get the body cast done, so it feels like you're scuba diving in a closet, sort of, and they cover you with plaster, and it dries slowly so they can make a mold. It was a blast. Dax Golding sent me this.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So I sent him a photo of myself at a bar with this guy, and he sits on my desk right here.
So, as your first role on the X-Files before the Great Mutato, you played a younger version of Cigarette Smoking Man.
That's right. Musings, cigarette smoking man. Yes.
Yeah, and less than back. Hey, now we want you to basically play his son, Jeffery Spender. Was it hard transitioning from the two characters? Because your portrayal of Jeffery Spender versus his father's kind of a tall order. How was that? How was that?
Well, they kind of give it to you in the writing, and so I just thought, well, this is a different guy, but he's got the same genes. Let's, I'll just follow what they tell me to do, and away we go. I think Musings is one of Great Mutato and Musings are two of my favorite episodes. I love what Bill does in the episode. I love the black and white. There's. I remember being on set we were shooting the Kennedy assassination, and there was a fellow dressed as Kennedy who looked very much like him, and he had a major gunshot wound at the top of his head, and you're standing around craft services with this guy. He's having a donut.
Hopefully not a jelly donut.
right?
Yeah, that's
A raspberry jelly donut.
That'd be great. Like if he's just like just poking his hand and like, huh.
Dipping.
raspberry, my favorite.
Yeah.
They think of everything on this set.
Right.
Yeah, the first time I got to do some acting, and the very first time I was on a set, somebody said, "Oh, if you're hungry, just head over to the craft services table." And I swear to God, I thought that meant like there was a macaroni and cheese truck. Like I thought it was a craft macaroni and cheese truck. Like I did not know. Like, and then you go over there and it's just like, I've never seen so much wonderful food in my entire life. It was insane. And they just like bring you food. How crazy is that? I mean, I know you're seasoned, you've been doing this a while, so for you it's second nature. But I'm just standing there in between takes, and some lady's like, "Hey, here's a filet mignon bite with a side of arugula," and I'm like, "What is happening?" It's pretty crazy. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Do you notice a big difference in the displays of food that they give you in different movies and shows, or is it pretty standard?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It used to be there would be a sort of a sugar tray that would come around, which they don't do so much now anymore. They go for the health, but you know, lots of coffee. Exiles always had great food. Yeah, it's nice to be treated. It's one of the perks of the job if you ever get a job, you know.
What's your bacon number?
My what?
Bacon number.
Oh, let's see. I guess, well, I did have one little scene with Tom Cruise and Cocktail, so I guess that's and he worked with Kevin Bacon and Taps. Am I correct? Taps.
Oh man, so that's two. Yeah.
Yeah, two.
Wow. You
That'd be good.
don't have the same bacon number. I'm very, very proud, Matt. I've never brought it up before on our show, but I'm very, very proud. I acted with on Grimm. Do you remember the TV show Grimm?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I was a paramedic on an ambulance, which is ironic because I was a paramedic on an ambulance who just ended up in this scene. And I acted with Reggie Lee, and I was credited. And Reggie Lee was in Crazy Stupid Love with Kevin Bacon. So
it counts.
It technically counts.
Nice work. Nice work. I'd absolutely.
So, Chris, coming into the series of the X-Files, you started out as a skeptic who was Mulder's rival. And then as it progressed, you became more to kind of take on the beliefs that he had.
That's right. Yeah.
You kind of touched on this with the scripts. Did you know there was going to be a paradigm shift, or was it just kind of a surprise?
No, I didn't know. You just kind of go along with what they give you. You get maybe a few weeks in advance, and just sort of they'll provide you with a map, and learn your dialogue and see where you go. So I didn't know where things were going a lot of the time. I hope it didn't show.
So you had some amazing friends. From what we've read and talked to people about, you had a really close relationship with William B. Davis. And supposedly there was a moment when you were filming what was thought to be your final scene, and he said, "Stop, I don't want to do this. I don't want to shoot him." Dad's
a big softie. He's a big softie at heart, you know.
He obviously had no issue slapping you a couple of times though.
Yes, when we did that, he in rehearsal pulled back on the slap, and then on action he let me have one, a really good one. So, and that was exactly right. That's the way it should be. At least I knew it was coming, unlike some people.
That's awesome. So when David Duchovny called you back to be part of the season 9 finale, were you surprised to see the prosthetics for your role after you'd been shot and experimented on and everything? Like, were you ready after being the Great Mutato, or was it? totally.
Oh, well, Matt, I was surprised that David called at all. You know, it was great to get. I was up here in Toronto, and I just out of the blue, he just called me up and said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I said, "How are you, David?" And he said, "You know, I'm going to be directing one of the last episodes, and you know, I'd like to bring you back and have you be a part of it." I thought that's fantastic. You know, uh, it was a lot of fun. And then I once again the prosthetics, you know, which I'd been through before, so did that again, and I love the progression of the prosthetics. You know, Mutato was a very heavy thing, but during my torture scenes, I was given a whole bunch of interesting stuff, bubbles that moved on my skin and filled up with air, and it was they're very inventive. You know, amazing. These guys took me. I was going in to do to get the prosthetics done, and they brought me into their where they work, and the guy said, let me show you the cool stuff. And he actually pulled a book off a shelf, tilted it, and the doors slid open just like the movies, and we walked into the workshop filled with ghouls and aliens and all sorts of great stuff. It was fantastic.
I know a lot of that stuff ended up at and it's opening soon, the X-Files Preservation Collection.
Oh,
have you heard about that, Matt?
no.
So it's in New York, and basically just through donations over the last few years, they've gotten the vast majority of prosthetics and wax sculptures and all the stuff used for the show.
Yeah.
And they're actually doing a grand opening with Chris Carter for a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be good. We'll put a link to that in below, because if we didn't live on the West Coast, we'd be over there in a second. It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think they've got a good.
Did you manage to swipe anything as a keepsake or whatnot from the show?
I do have some things. I've got let's see. Well, David gave out basketballs to everyone on the last day of our filming in Vancouver, and he signed mine. See you in LA, punk. Have a good trip, hothead.
Oh yeah. So speaking of that LA thing, I had read that you were on the show when there was like just the rumor mill was going around whether or not you guys were going to end up going to LA or not. Because it was huge speculation, and then finally they made the announcement. And was that hard for you, like to move from? Because I mean, as with most seasoned actors that live up in either, you know, British Columbia or Vancouver, in that area, all of a sudden, like, hey, you're going to LA now. It's like, oh God,
with a job,
oh God,
with a job, Mike, with a job, and that's unusual. To go down to the city and have a job on a great show was like, thanks. I really appreciate it. You know, it got me into a lot of great parties, and I had a fantastic time in LA. My wife even came. Well, my now wife at the time was my girlfriend. She was in law school up in BC, and she came down, and she was an extra on the Triangle episode, which we shot on the Queen Mary. I remember getting the first script for LA, and it said, fade in. We're looking into bright light, bright sunlight, like we haven't seen in many years. I was like, there you go.
Since you brought that up, I gotta ask. This just came to mind right now. Triangle was one of, in my opinion, one of the greatest episodes of the X-Files, but not for like all the right reasons. It was spectacular to me because I think it was the constant long shots. The one shot in particular, was it like a 6-minute long scene of Scully, and you're in that, and the lone gunmen are in that, and it was just this. I mean, I'm assuming the elevator, it didn't really go anywhere. People just shifted out of the way once the doors to make it look like it was a different floor of that, you know, things of that nature. But things of that nature. But that was exactly insane cut to see that, just like Oh my God. How many times did you guys have to do that?
You know, you're right, man. It was everyone was amazingly good at it, but it was like choreographing a theater piece, and some of the takes were minutes long. That one you're talking about, they literally would close the elevator doors, and crew would come out and switch some plants and a few photos on the walls and something like that, and then the doors would open and we're on another floor. You know, fantastic.
Hold on, I'll be off in a... Hold on. Hello? No. I can't understand. I can't.
Is that you?
Is it you?
I'm trying to reach you. I got the information you needed.
It's like I think it was modeled after Rope, the Alfred Hitchcock film, so it looks like it's all one take. And we had a very, very talented, very large Steadicam operator who had to carry that camera the whole time. Unbelievable. And if we did make a mistake, which happened on occasion, especially when William and I were attempting to speak German, if there was an error, we had to, you know, clean up the bodies and reload the guns and get everybody back, clean the floor up because to start again. So yeah, it was great. I loved it.
In a Nazi uniform, basically. I mean, I know it's acting, but at the same time, you're like, oh, you're having me play a Nazi who just, this is a little awkward. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm holding a Luger and I've got a Nazi uniform on, and yeah, there you go. I know David was conscious of not wanting to be photographed in his Nazi jacket, just, you know, off the cuff, so that people wouldn't use that, which makes sense. But yeah, it was strange, and it was strange that everyone was in their, you know, period costumes too. It's very yeah, very cool, very transport.
Outside the X-Files, obviously you've been keeping busy. What are some newer projects that you're proud of? What are some things that have come up recently that were cool experiences for you?
Well, I play a lot of hockey. I did The Expanse for a season. That was fun, a cool sci-fi show. I was recently in something called The Mayor of Kingstown, which is like a criminal procedural. So I play an internal investigator. That's my thing. What else? Yeah, lots of TV stuff up here. I get into the odd film. I had a small part in a mini series called The Green Room, which was all about the Trump administration, which was fun to do. Yeah, so yeah, wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned you play a lot of hockey. So are you up in Toronto still? Is that where you're residing now? Now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Letterkenny then.
Oh, absolutely, sure. Leonard Kenny. Yeah. Do you like that show?
Yeah, we still to this day, and even in fact today, a couple of times I'll be like, "Hey, Matt, to be fair," and he's like, "To be fair." Yeah, it's great show. We love it very much.
Yeah,
That's
Very much.
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Leonard Kenny. I haven't been on that show.
So are there any projects coming up, like any movies or shows that you're kind of planning to work on, or?
Right now I'm just like every actor, auditioning for stuff. So there's a few things that certainly interested me, but it's a question of whether I get chosen or not. So that's the life of the actor. You're always auditioning all the time. Unless you're like David or Jillian, I guess. So and they've done some fantastic work. I mean, my God, look what Jillian's done since X-Files. Like, oh my God, Margaret Thatcher winning an Oscar.
The Crown is one of my guilty pleasures. Which you wouldn't think, me being the jackass that I am, like that I would actually enjoy The Crown. But when I initially found out that Jillian was going to be playing Margaret Thatcher, on the show, I was like, nah, I love Jillian, but nah, this isn't, no, it didn't feel right. And then when it actually came out and I'm watching it, I was actually finally able to just let it go. Like, she did it so brilliantly that you weren't even thinking, oh, this is Gillian Anderson playing Margaret Thatcher. It was just like, wow, this is intense. Margaret Thatcher sucks. Like, so that was very surprising. And yeah, man, that was crazy. And then I know David, I don't know if you saw The Bubble. He was just recently.
I saw The Bubble, yeah, just a couple days ago.
So yeah, they're obviously both working. And then recently, Jillian came out and said that there was actually a new condition to return to the X-Files, to do a reboot of it. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, there's rumors flying.
Apparently, she said that there'd have to be a new set of writers.
Oh,
which
it's not bad.
Is entirely doable. I mean, the sci-fi that we have going on today, I don't know if you're a fan of Stranger Things. Matt and I watched the new Stranger Things trailer, and it gives you goosebumps, man. I mean, people have the ability to just really, really get you going for sci-fi these days, and I think it's totally a possibility. So, who knows, man? Maybe we'll see some more X-Files. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I didn't think it would. It's come back several times already. You know, I didn't think that was going to happen. So, yeah, it may still well be alive. You never know.
We got a couple of orders of business, real quick, right, Matt?
We do.
Yeah,
we have a contest result.
So, we have basically cards that were supposed to be in the new series, the new sets, that unfortunately were never released. The game unfortunately did not have the staying power that the show did. Yeah. But a set that was supposed to be released, we actually managed to recreate the card that should have been on the box. And a couple weeks ago, Matt picked a number.
Yeah.
And this is still sitting up here. It's still sealed.
It's got our stamp.
Our stamp and everything on it. So let's go ahead and open that real quick. And that number would be, I haven't seen this yet, 58.
All right, so whoever was closest gets it.
And we looked here. So that would be Greg. Greg picked 64, so he was 6 away. Greg Nicholas, I believe, yeah. Picked that. So congratulations, Greg. That card's coming your way. And then for today's episode, in honor of Mr. Owens here, we do have this script that he so graciously signed in the year 2000. Oh, should we do it? In the year 2000. Gotta do some Conan love there. But Mr. Owens signed this on June 29th, 2000. And we'd love to give this away. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask that you pick, everybody, leave a comment, send us a message, send us an email, okay? Pick 3 numbers between 1 and 25. 3 numbers between 1 and 25. All right. So 1, 2, and 3 would technically work.
Yeah, that would work.
All right. I'm gonna write these down here. We're gonna put it in an envelope. And not only are we going to send you the script, but we're going to send you an autographed card by Mr. Chris Owens himself. This is the Great Mutato, sir. Thank you. All right. So I'm just going to write these down real quick. Let's see. Let's go. Let's go. That.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
So I heard, okay. That was originally written for Cher, and Cher wanted to be on the show.
Yes.
What happened? Like, she said that she thought it was tacky or something.
I thought it was a scheduling thing. I don't know, but the person they brought in to play Cher was fantastic.
Well, that's right. With that scene with Cher, did they actually have like a concert, or was it just staged? Oh yeah, look at it. Just staged. Oh yeah, look at this.
That's the person who played Cher right there. Yep. Yeah, she definitely got the room going, and they had lots of music happening, and it happened to be Halloween night. I kid you not. Everyone kept telling me, you should go out. You've got the best costume. But at that point, you just wanted to kind of hang in there and then get out of that costume.
I can imagine that would be less awkward than like you're still in your Nazi outfit. Hey, you want to go hit a bar? Actually, I think that's illegal, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was I don't know if it was, I think it was a show or something I was working on. And there was a part that I needed like a Nazi, you know, it was like supposed to be a joke, like just an idiot Nazi, which I guess that's, you know, redundant. But anyway, but I tried to find like a Nazi outfit for this role, and like you cannot get them. Like they do not, like people will rent them for like thousands of dollars to you, but like it is, I just gave up on that.
Yeah, you don't want to go down those dark holes of where you could get one from. So.
That and
That's right.
I don't know. Like I hope, you know, in 5 years from now, people don't, you know, call you up and they're like, hey, remember that time you were Nazi? You're canceled, man.
I think we've said Nazi like 7 times, 8 times now. So I don't know. YouTube's probably gonna flag us.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be demonetized.
We're gonna draw in the wrong crowd.
Oh, that's no good. Well, thank you for taking some time to hang out with us. I know that you're busy. You play a lot of hockey. Now, you're on like an official team, or how's that work?
I am on a team called Sergeant Rock. I've been on there for, oh my goodness, I've been on that team for 25 years.
I've seen TV in the movies. Like, you just beat the crap out of each other, basically.
No, we just try to play good hockey.
Well, a lot of times you see guys like, and they do the death grip.
Yeah.
And they're going around and around, but no one's really doing anything. And you look at the refs, and the refs are just like, we'll let it get it out of their systems. Give them a minute. So I don't know. I just assume that everybody fights in hockey. I don't know.
And we've already got it out of our systems. Now we just play.
How accurate is Letterkenny hockey?
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, those guys know a thing or two.
Oh man. So no, like like that speech, because Toronto is, oh God, I suck at geography. It's closer to New York than it's closer to Letterkenny, right?
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
Yes, technically. So like what they're portraying is like the extremist, like Northern Canadian, like small town attitude, right? Because
yes. Yeah. I don't see too many of those guys in downtown Toronto, but you never know.
Well, Mr. Owens, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. We really
Mike,
appreciate it.
Matt, nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you too. And we'll see you next time on
Mike and Matt's X-Files CCG.
Absolutely. Anytime.